I used to dream of owning a huge house, like I mean huge, with a big yard and a garden, all the bells and whistles. And then one day, that dream just changed for me, and it was no longer what I wanted. And that's because I realized that that dream didn't align with the life I wanted to live. It didn't align with what I wanted to really prioritize in my life. And I wonder if you've ever felt that or thought that having more and better things would make you happy. And have you ever considered that maybe the opposite is actually true? So today we're going to talk about that. And specifically, we're going to talk about lifestyle creep and how it really can hinder your financial freedom. So, hi, my name is Emily Avon Green. I'm a therapist in private practice and a slow living enthusiast. And today I'm trying out something a little bit different. It's going to be a new series where it's just really laid back. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm thinking, maybe what I'm reading about, any questions that you might have that you want answers. And it's really going to be podcast style without any editing. I've got my hot chocolate here, and I've also got my dog. Say hi, Haley. She likes to be under blankets. So that's where she is, if you're wondering. So let's talk. So let's first actually just define what lifestyle creep is. And Wikipedia says that lifestyle creep, also known as lifestyle inflation, is a phenomenon that occurs when, as more resources are spent on standard of living, former luxuries become perceived necessities. And to put that in like more conversational terms, it's this idea that the more money we make, the more money we tend to spend, the more money we tend to spend, the more money we need to make, and so on and so forth. And that can really snowball. So we might hear stories of people getting promotions and then they're going to buy a new house or buy a boat or go on a luxury vacation. And in a more like drastic example of this would be if somebody were to win the lottery, they'll tend to go and buy like a really expensive house, cars, and it just kind of snowballs because the problem is that when we start spending on small upgrades and we're doing so just because we have the money, we tend to go overboard. We do more and more and more until again, like it snowballs out of control. And there's this quote in Slow Living that I'm going to completely butcher here, but it's this idea of that the more you earn, the more you spend, the more you spend, the more you need to earn for things like to buy the things that you don't even care about. I had not enough wall to tell you all that thing. But it's this idea that if we keep spending, we need to keep earning. And if we need to keep earning, that we're never truly free, right? Because we're stuck in this hustle cycle of just needing to make money and make money to buy the things that we don't really care about. Buy the things that we don't really want to impress the people we don't really like, right? Keeping up with the Joneses. And I am not immune to that. So I told you in the beginning that was really dreaming of a beautiful house. When we first went to buy a house was 2021. So it was like right in the middle of when the Canadian market for houses was not at its best. And we were pre-approved. I just asked my husband. He thinks it was like 550 or 600 $1,000 for a home. And we're looking at some homes, and there were some that were like really at the top of that bracket, right? And my husband, he's always been the reasonable one with money. He's always been the more frugal one. And he was like, we can't spend at the top of that bracket because then we're going to become house poor. And that was a term I had never heard before. And house poor really means like when you spend all your money on a house that's at the top of what you're pre-approved for, but then you have no more money for other things, right? Because you're really stuck in that house. So even if you wanted to do upgrades to your house, you don't have the financial capacity. In our case, I was working at an agency at that point, and I knew that I eventually wanted to start working in private practice, but we recognized that if we did buy a house at the top of our budget, then I wouldn't have the flexibility to even attempt private practice because we would need a stable income. Or let's say something happened at our work, we lost our job, or we really didn't like our job anymore and we needed an exit plan, we wouldn't have that financial buffer. And so when we did buy our house, we bought, like, I think our house was like 400,000. And it's older, it's not like huge, it's not fancy, and I even have like popcorn ceiling. It is what it is. I love my house though. But then even when I bought this house with my husband, my first thought was like, oh, well, we should redo this and we should redo that and we should do. And my husband, again, being the common sense one that he is, he calmed me down off that ledge of wanting to just spend, because in my mind, like at that point, I had money. I had a stable job. We had money saved up. And when I saw the money, I'm like, look, might as well spend the money, get the perfect house that we want. If we already have this house, we might as well do all the upgrades possible. And yeah, we didn't do that. I did do a couple of little things, but were like financially like doable and not that big of a deal, and also were needed. But I purposely like sat in this corner too of the room, because this is like my living room. It's my favorite room in the house. I have all the plans of what I want to do to this room. But like right now, like what you see here, like brown spots, that's from the old couch. It kind of just rubbed against it, and now there's like spots. There was really old wallpaper here that I ripped off, and just we haven't gotten around to actually fixing everything and painting everything. And I even have like old blinds, like it's whatever. But it was really bugging me, like really bugging me. I remember being almost emotionally distraught about the fact that I couldn't redo this house. Like I couldn't gut the kitchen. I couldn't do blah, 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 blah. And I was really having a difficult time. And when I had my burnout, really around the same time we bought the house, because we bought the house 2021, and I don't know how much after that, but I had a burnout, a really severe burnout. I was hustling really hard at work, and then I completely just depleted completely. And I was stuck home for 6 months. And that's when I really started my journey of realizing what was truly important to me, how I wanted to live my life. And I recognized that I couldn't spend money in this home, or else I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do most. And like one of the things I wanted to do most was start my private practice. And so like right now I'm in private practice. I see a smaller number of clients because I'm in the beginning of it. And also I'm a highly sensitive person. I don't want to see tons of clients. But that means I have to be a bit more financially frugal and just more conscious of where I'm spending my money. And so I try to live below my means, right? Like not too much below my means. You don't want to live above our means. And even just living within our means, like that can be so different for different people. Because you could live within your means and you could be the top of it, right? I prefer living a little bit below, being able to save money and have buffers in case we need to do anything. If our car breaks down, if something comes up, you know, it's just really good to have those buffers. We have a dog. Okay, so I'm just petting her. She's under the blanket. And I'm like, if anything happens with her, of course we want like a little buffer in case we need to help take care of her. And so that's why it's so important to not have, the lifestyle creep. And even on my journey of earning $1 million while building $1 million business, I have had friends be like, oh, so when you make that amount of money, you're going to like buy a lavish house and this, that, and the other, right? And at first, I was thinking like, oh, that'd be so nice. But really, that's not what I want from life. I love our home. I love how it's a bit more small. I love having my family close. I would probably do some upgrades in here to just make it more what I want, and that's totally fine. But I want to be able to put money in stocks, put money in savings, put money aside for my daughter to go to school. And also, like, you never know what's going to happen. So I could earn a certain amount of money, but why spend it all when you don't know what's coming up in the next year? Especially we've seen with, market crashes and COVID and all that. We never know what's going to happen. And I prefer just being safe and having money put aside for that. And when it comes to my home, because I think the biggest place that I would want to spend money, it's always been my home. I'm a very much a homebody. I don't travel that much. I like traveling a little bit. Like we went to Ireland for our honeymoon and that was beautiful. But I don't travel that much. Um, I'm very much a homebody. I love anything that has to do with like home improvements or designing a home and all that. And so I would love to do things for my home and that's okay. But I listened to an audiobook. I wonder if I can find it. And it was really interesting because it spoke directly to the issues that I was facing of feeling like I needed a better house, a nicer house, but how that wasn't truly what was important. Let me see. Do we have. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So trying to find the one I want to refer to you guys to is sometimes it's a difficult thing. Okay. Love the Home You Have by Melissa Michaels. Love the Home You Have by Melissa Michaels. That's the one I'm referring to. And it was interesting. The summary says like, what if the house of your dreams is the home you have? Which really spoke to me. And find the beauty in the ordinary, discover your style and let it shine with simple ideas, entertain possibilities and people with more gratitude and joy. So there's this idea of contentment. There's like contentment with what you have and gratitude. And I feel like especially in the last, I don't know, 5 months, I've really recognized that. I have so much gratitude for everything that I have. And when I do want more, I tend to default back to my gratitude and evaluate why. And sometimes I find that we want more because spending really has become a coping strategy for many of us. I would say it's a negative coping strategy, and it really acts as like a dopamine hit, right? When we add things to basket and then we purchase and then it arrives and we unpack it, it's great. But then it fades really quickly because it's not a very good dopamine hit. So I had a couple of things I wanted to share on here with you of tips that might actually be helpful. And things that I myself do. So the first tip would be to define what enough looks like for you and how that aligns with your lifestyle and your values. So it's less focus on things, more focus on relationships, experiences, and well-being. And so what does enough look like for you? And one thing that I did was like, I have enough. I have enough things. I have enough seating. I have enough toys for my daughter. Honestly, they always have enough toys. But I have enough. What I don't have enough of, what I will never have enough of, is laughter in my home. It's joy. It's freedom. It's the ability to have flexibility in my life and in my work. And I know that if I own too many things, then I won't have that freedom because I will need to work harder to earn more money, to buy the things, and maintain the things. So what does enough look like for you? Tip number 2, mindfully evaluate your purchases. So before buying, ask, is this truly necessary or is it just a desire for more? So is it truly necessary or is it just a desire for more, right? Is it just a dopamine hit? And there's so many things online where I would buy things all the time because it just looks like, oh, I could possibly need that. So do you just want to buy it or do you truly need it? And you have to really define what is necessity, right? We think we might need it, but we want it. There's a difference between needing and wanting. Tip 3, practice gratitude, keeping a journal or simply taking moments to appreciate what you have. I mentioned that and I do that a lot where I'll just sit in a specific room and I'll look at the different things in the room and I'll be like, oh, wow, I'm so lucky that I have this and I have that, this comfortable chair. And, my life is so full. So have gratitude. I even have a sign in my house that talks about gratitude. Other things that I do that I would recommend is, prioritize experiences over things. So one thing that my family and my friends think is kind of weird is that my husband and I do not buy gifts for each other. For Christmas, for birthdays, we don't do it. We usually, what we do is we have like an activity. So we'll go Christmas, we do usually a movie and supper. Birthdays is a supper. The only thing that we do when we buy something is just Valentine's, because I give him fruits and he gives me chocolates, and that's like it. But it's just mostly because he likes fruits and I like chocolate. But we don't buy each other things. We we prioritize quality time over things. And when I can buy experiences for people as their gifts, that's what I'll do. Like for my brother, for his birthday, we went to go see a concert of an artist that he really loves. So that was really fun. And yeah, just recognize how you can appreciate what you already own. Because I think a lot of us also forget what we do own. Because sometimes we own so much that half of it's in storage. Do you know what I mean? So really take note of what you do own, and take the time to see the beauty in it and rediscover it truly. Now let me see if I had any other little notes here to share. Also, I do sing to myself quite a bit. Yeah, yeah, so benefits of living below my means is that I have reduced stress, I have more freedom, and I have more time and energy and money for the things that matter most to me. So that's so important. And like even for like I was mentioning my journey to $1 million, and you have to be really I have intention behind it, right? The reason why I want to make the money is not to buy more or do more things in the house or whatever. It's to have money to impact change and to really provide for my family and my friends. That is what I want to do. And with more money, I can reach bigger platforms. I can make more change within the world. That is why I want the money, not to just buy more things. So that way, when I do make more money, that's going to help buffer me against inflation, lifestyle creep. So a couple of closing thoughts. I would love you to reflect on what truly matters to you. And have you ever felt the pressure to have more? And how did it make you feel? So really reflect on those things. And yeah, I would love to know in the comments, what does enough look like for you? What does contentment look like for you? For me, it's having my family close, laughter in the home, the necessities of roof over my head, heating in the winter, running water, food, and the freedom to make my own decisions with regards to my career. And my husband's has freedom as well in his own career. So what does enough mean and look like to you? Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this more laid back, slow video. And if you like this and you want to see more videos like this or my more structured videos, then please go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. And Haley's going to say goodbye too. That's my dog. Haley, say goodbye. Say goodbye, Haley. She doesn't want to say goodbye. Bye. Keep living your authentic life.